trace amounts of mercury and other poisonous adjuvants or fetal stem cells in vaccines are so small that they are insignificant. Bullshit. Anaphylactic symptoms also vary to a great extent, although differences are marked rather according to the nature of the recipient's biochemistry than according to the nature of the poison or protein used. That is why some people have horrible adverse reactions, while others have none or only mild symptoms. A subject that had a previous injection is far more sensitive than the new subject, which is why people who took flu shots with some of the same toxic adjuvants are having more terrible adverse reactions to the COVID vaccine than those who didn't. And this can't be stressed enough. A 3 or 4 week period must elapse before the anaphylactic state results. This is the period of incubation. Why is that so important? Because the UK Health Service just pushed back the interval for delivering the second Pfizer coronavirus vaccine to a duration Pfizer says is untested. The NHS wrote a letter to hospitals saying those who are scheduled to receive their second dose after January 4th should be rescheduled from 3 weeks' time to the 12th. The NHS said the move would protect the greatest number of at-risk people in the shortest period and have the greatest impact on mortality. That is bullshit. The medical industry has known since 1903 that 3 weeks is the incubation period needed for developing anaphylaxis hypersensitivity. It's going to have a great impact on mortality, all right. It's going to murder more people. In fact, EpiPens are used to treat emergency anaphylaxis, and one of the first things Joe Biden did in office was to reverse Trump's order to lower the prices of EpiPens, right before the second scheduled round of COVID's vaccines causes millions of major anaphylactic reactions. Now, why might that be, Joe? What else aren't we being told about these permanent Frankenstein genetic modification injections? Part 3. Severe Adverse Reactions and Death. Last year, the WHO, CDC, and national health agencies worldwide told us the average age of death from the alleged COVID virus was 82 years old, which just happens to be the average life expectancy for all humans, and that 94% of those deaths were sick elderly people already dying of 2.6 other terminal illnesses. So the world was locked down and economies shattered to protect our vulnerable and elderly. This year, Ted Turner's CNN is telling us don't be alarmed if elderly die after receiving the COVID's vaccine, that we should not be unnecessarily alarmed if there are reports, once we start vaccinating, of someone or multiple people dying within a day or two of their vaccination who are residents of a long-term care facility. Well, which is it? Are we saving them or murdering them? Let's ask the 24 dead in a New York nursing home, or the 26 dead in Gibraltar, 33 dead in Norway, 5 dead in Denmark, 55 dead reported on VAERS in just 2 weeks. Keep in mind that less than 1% of adverse reactions and deaths are ever even reported on VAERS. As of 3 weeks ago, VAERS had 211 reported deaths. And since only 1% are even reported to VAERS, it's more likely 21,000 real deaths and 42,000 reported side effects, more likely 4.2 million side effects out of the 82.5 million shots already given so far. This woman's father-in-law died just 3 days after his first dose of the Pfizer vaccine. 6 died in the Pfizer vaccine trial. Kara's grandmother took the vaccine December 28th and died January 1st. She was doing just fine before the vaccine. 1 died at a nursing home 45 minutes after the shot. An Ohio woman's mother died a few days after. And in a Dover Riverside nursing home, 4 died in one night, which is unheard of. Lori's 85-year-old father-in-law died 6 days after the jab. 94-year-old mother-in-law dead 4 hours after an adverse reaction. Great-grandfather dead 2 weeks after the shot. Seavey's 97-year-old aunt died within 48 hours after the shot. 88-year-old father-in-law, pressured to take the jab, was fit as a fiddle, had 2 strokes, and died. The family has concluded he was murdered by the vaccine. In the nursing home in Auburn, New York, they had 0 COVID deaths up until December 29th, and then 24 deaths within just 7 days after giving out the vaccine.
I'm here to speak from the angle of a medical expert, from a CNA perspective, from a person who works in the medical field. Okay, and what I'm gonna talk about, it is something I'm gonna be honest with you, it is not being spoken about enough. There are some that are beginning to speak about it, but we need to speak about this. This is a serious issue. In 2020, the whole entire year, we did not have a single death. Did you hear what I said? A single death from any of our residents who had COVID-19. As a matter of fact, we only had about 5 people. How many I said? 5 people at the most who was infected with COVID-19. 0 death for the entire year of 2020. Just about 5 cases at the most. All of them survived. December 2020, right around the time of the 22nd and so on, I can get you the exact date if you want that, the vaccine was administered to our patients and also to some of our staff members. Get this, friends. We are in January 18, 2021, 2 weeks after these people received the vaccine, particularly the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. I am seeing this pattern of not just side effects, to the point where we had people who were once walking who are no longer walking. People who were once talking who could no longer talk. People who were once able to think could no longer think properly. Delirium, confused. The expert says that the vaccine do not have the COVID-19 in it. I understand. Okay. It's supposed to be a stimulus, right? A stimulus that's supposed to help your immune system to fight against the virus if you were to confront it. That's the purpose of this vaccine, right? Our residents are dying after they have taken this vaccine. And what troubles me, this is not even being spoken about. What bothers my heart is that it's almost like, don't talk about this. Just keep quiet. This. You go to the year of 2020, 0 death, and I can speak the same for many, many nursing homes. 0 death. You go to the whole entire year, not a single person passed away. We are in 2021. We are in the middle of the month. Where I work right now, over 14 patients have already died. They are dropping like flies.
But hang on, the CDC data says the alleged COVID survival rate for people over age 69 is over 99%, meaning less than 1 in 100 people die. In order to have 14 die in his nursing home, he would have to have at least 1,400 residents there, despite the average sized nursing home being 120 beds and the largest being 744 beds, with all 1,400 of them allegedly sick and infected. Yet he said only 5 were sick and none died the entire year of 2020. And it's not just the elderly who are dying. A resident COVID vaccination clinic worker died within 12 hours of her shot. Her co-worker is being directed not to report to VAERS by her corporate management. Now, why might that be? Christy lost a nurse friend in Roanoke, Virginia, who got the shot, then called Christy to say she fainted afterwards, went to the hospital, and died. Diane's friend's sister's 34-week-old baby passed away 48 hours after the shot. 2 pregnant women got these poisonous injections to protect their babies. Both have miscarried after the first dose. It would appear Dr. Yeadon was not joking around. A Connecticut medical worker's friend died less than 8 hours after her COVID's vaccination. An ER nurse proudly rolled up her sleeve December 20th and died December 26th with a heart issue. An Israeli man died of a heart attack hours after his COVID's vaccine. Pro-vaccine doctor Gregory Michael died of a hemorrhage stroke in a matter of minutes, just a few weeks after his vaccine. Cecilia's cousin's daughter-in-law got the shot because she worked at the hospital, began having trouble breathing, and died less than a week later, leaving behind 3 children and a husband. A 40-year-old man in great shape died 2 days after getting the vaccine. His lifelong friend maintains, "You are completely out of your mind if you let them stick you." I have dozens upon dozens of others from just a few hours of my own research, and this film isn't long enough or intended to chronicle all of these events, only to alert you to the fact again that if you put your hand in the fire, you will get burned. You can get burned if you want to. That's perfectly okay. The world could definitely use more parking spaces, just so long as you know what's coming to you. A recent video has surfaced from a FedEx warehouse employee showing hundreds of stacked pallets full of tens of thousands of cadaver body bags being shipped out non-stop. Coincidence? Mr. Gates certainly didn't seem to think so. Others were lucky enough to get off with mild anaphylactic symptoms, like severe rashes and partial paralysis or numbness. One nurse giving the COVID shots at Mercy Hospital said people are passing out, eyes swelling shut, full body rashes and numbness in the arms, hives, aching joints, skin and palms of hands beginning to peel and sheet off. Dr. Cynthia Foster tells us about a physician's assistant at a New York hospital who took the jab and was given Steven Johnson syndrome. It makes all the skin on your body peel off and makes you go blind. She looks like a burn victim and is now in the burn unit with her eyes taped shut, and they don't know if she will survive. If she does, she will likely be blind at least in one eye, if not both, and have to go through numerous skin graft surgeries and be scarred all over her body for life.
So long story short, I collapsed. I had two seizures, and I blacked out. I was throwing up. My heart rate was 194, and I was paralyzed. I felt like I was paralyzed. Like, my hands were stuck like this. I couldn't move my legs. I couldn't do anything for myself. And I couldn't breathe. My face was tingling all right here. My arms were tingling. And everything was tingling. And then I got 2 EpiPens on the side of my leg.